Iron Maiden has released many albums over the years, but the question is their debut album their best one? I'm going to look at it in this video. Iron Maiden had been a band just under 5 years prior to signing with EMI and recording their debut album. They'd been through a plethora of singers, guitarists, drummers and even a keyboardist before settling on the lineup that would record the band's self-titled debut. That lineup would be founder and bassist Steve Harris, guitarist Dave Murray, Paul DiAnno on vocals, Dennis Stratton on lead guitars and Clive Burr on drums, both of which had only recently joined the band. They started recording the album in 1979 and it was released in 1980. Burr and Stratton added an extra quality to the band which helped propel Maiden even further forward. Dennis Stratton is credited with bringing the now signature harmony guitars to Iron Maiden. Now, while Paul DiAnno wasn't the prettiest of vocalists, he actually gave a real raw, authentic sound to the band, which gave them an edge at the time. They sounded completely different vocally from the other NWOBHM bands. The original mix for the album was worked on by Dennis Stratton and the engineers Will Malone and Martin Levin. Stratton was in part hired for the Maiden gig because of his experience with his own band, Remus Down Boulevard. He had worked on a mix that took inspiration from Queen, with not only harmony guitars that Stratton had introduced to Iron Maiden, but harmony vocals. However, Rod Smallwood, Maiden's manager, heard the mix and didn't want the album to sound so polished, so removed most of Stratton's work. This style of writing and production would become a signature of Stratton's later work with his future bands Lionheart and Praying Mantis. It would have been interesting to hear what the Dennis Stratton mix of the album would have sounded like, especially with those extra guitar harmonies and those vocal harmonies. It could have given the album a completely different sound. Onto the songs of the album. The opening track Prowler starts off the album in a powerful way. Even to this day it's one of Iron Maiden's best songs. This is followed by Remember Tomorrow and then Running Free, which is another all-time Maiden classic, and that's just the first 3 songs on the album. For me, Phantom of the Opera is another timeless classic, and that's followed up by the instrumental Transylvania, and that's a song that's had a big influence on me. Strange World is by no means a bad song, but it's probably my least favourite on the whole album. Another song that's had a big influence on myself is Charlotte the Harlot, where at roughly 2 minutes 48 it hits on a different level, and that's one of the best passages of the whole album. The final track, and it's the title track, is again another classic and one of the best metal songs ever written. Then there's the song Sanctuary, which was released in the North American version of the album, but it was only a single in the UK. The songs on this album were played live and honed over the 4 years prior to the album's recording. This is why the quality of the songwriting is so good on this album. It set the band up for megastardom. Steve Harris and Dave Murray would be the only members from the debut that would remain with Iron Maiden for their entire careers. Dennis Stratton, Clive Burr and Paul DiAnno would reunite together in Praying Mantis. They would record the Live at Last album together in Tokyo, Japan, where they played a set of both Mantis and Maiden songs. Dennis Stratton would become a full member of Praying Mantis from 1990 to 2006, whereas Clive Burr had a couple of stints in Praying Mantis across the 1990s. Clive Burr would work with Paul DiAnno again in the NWOBHM supergroup Gog Magog, featuring future Black Sabbath and former Whitesnake bassist Neil Murray, future Maiden guitarist Yannick Gers, and Def Leppard guitarist Peter Willis. Despite having a quality lineup of musicians, the EP they record together is a poor release. Dennis Stratton and DiAnno would work together again and release 2 Iron Men albums together in the mid-90s. Like most Maiden fans, my favourite Iron Maiden album can change from week to week, but I find myself going back to the debut every time. It's fair to say the album's had a massive influence on both my songwriting and my guitar playing. I've drawn a lot from the Iron Maiden debut over the years. So the question I asked at the start of the video was, is Iron Maiden's debut their best album? And having thought about it, for me, probably yes, until I listen to another one. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We'll be doing more videos of this type going forward. If you like what we've done, subscribe, like what we do on YouTube and share it.